Hello guys and Happy New Year! I hope it will be successful for each one of you. Today's topic is going to be about the most important motorcycle gear, the helmet. Which one to take on a long motorcycle trip? Stay with me and I will tell you my opinion about it. So, let's say you already planned your trip, the bike is ready, the money are fucked, but you're still wondering which helmet to take. It's a very good question and I will try to answer it as simple as possible. Maybe the best option is to buy very well known helmets like Modular helmets from Schuberth or Shoei, but not everyone is ready to spend $500, $600 up to $800 for helmet. I'm not going to review the models from the market, there are thousands of them. What I will do is just will give you a few ideas to think about. During the years I have used any kind of helmets, off-road, enduro, street helmets or modular helmets. You can find tons of information in YouTube and compare each one of the models. They all got a pros and cons. Don't forget, we're talking about the choice of helmet for a long motorcycle trip. What does this mean? The helmet needs to be comfortable, light but safe. You will have many riding hours with it and it needs to be proved. The best option is just to prove it before the trip. It needs to be as quiet as possible, easy to operate, put in or out, easy to lock and unlock, easy to clean if necessary. It should have a possibility to lock it on the bike, because some of the open face helmets it's not possible to lock on the bike, so you have to carry with you all the time, or you should have a top box to store it in. It needs to be suitable for any kind of weather changes or any kind of terrains, for off-road, on-road, highways, for everywhere. It needs to be easy to forget in the case it gets stolen. It will be difficult if your helmet costs 1,000 euros. After all that I just said, I will reduce the choice to two options: Enduro and street helmet. Let's start with the first, street or touring helmet. They are a great option. You can find it usually in very good prices and you can find thousands of models, different shape, different colors, different sizes, anything you like. If you spend a little bit above $100 or $150, you're gonna have a nice quality helmet, even with a pin lock system. They are comfortable, quiet, easy to lock by use a chain from here, clean it or store it. You can even change the graphics. There are so many choices around the net, or put some funny things here on the top or some airs here, whatever you like. Some of that models even coming with integrated sunglasses, which is great. The positive sides of that type of helmets are very well known. We're not gonna talk about it. I will be more specific about the cons of that type of helmets. The biggest problem is that these helmets are too tight. When you're wearing it, you have no air on it. The distance between your nose and your visor is just about 2 centimeters, and between your chin and the front of the helmet is 1 finger. So there is no air on it, and because of that it's very difficult, for example, to mount a Bluetooth system. So the microphone is supposed to come somewhere here in front of your mouth, but because of the lack of the space it's very difficult to find a proper position, and usually it's just stick like this from that side or from that, and you always try to find a place to mount it, but it's almost impossible. It is not a problem when you're riding a sport bikes, because you have this specific position just like that, and you're riding very fast on a high speed, and when you're riding on high speed you don't need to look around all the time. Or even if you have a communication system, it's not for all day, it's just for a couple of hours. You go out with your motorcycle, go to the race or go to the tracks, or just make simple of 31 hour or 2 hours ride and you're fine. But when you're riding on a long motorcycle trip, you have to spend hours, sometimes even days with this helmet on. And believe me, that is a problem. And what is actually happens, after just a couple of hours you need to stop and take out this helmet, because you can't breathe anymore, you have to do it. Overheating. When you're riding on the hot day, you realize that these helmets are not very well ventilated. You have some air gaps here, or maybe here on the back. You can open your visor a little bit to breathing, but the reality is that because they are too tight, there is no air inside. The air cannot circulate inside, and it's a problem. It's a problem especially in over 35-40 degrees. On the long trips, you never know what kind of terrain you're gonna get. So today you will have a highway, so this helmet is perfect for highway or normal roads, it's great. But tomorrow you may hit some off-road section. So when you hit the off-road section, to ride with this helmet on off-road, it's really difficult. First, because if you close your visor, it gets foggy everywhere. Even if you have a pin lock system, because of the air, because of the lack of the air gap between your nose and your visor, it gets foggy. And when you get foggy, you have to open it. So finally, when you're riding off-road, you will finish riding with the open visor and maybe with the sunglasses on. That's okay, that's great option. I use it a few times. But because of the dusty condition, because of the sun, because of the dust coming in, everything going into the line of your sunglasses, you have to clean it all the time. But because they are made with, I don't know, some kind of polish cover on it, you just scratch it. So after a month of use, I already scratch everywhere my sunglasses, and I stopped to use it. Also, when you're riding in the dusty condition, the dust going between your pin lock system and your visor. Yes, correct, it's going between. It's supposed to be isolated from everywhere, but I don't know how, but the dust went into between these two windows, between the pin lock and my screened visor. So instead of having this pin lock system to protect my visor from fogging, I have a fog all the time. So I have to remove it and try to clean it. But again, it's almost impossible because the pin lock, it's covered with a very thin material. I don't know, some kind of special cover, and if you scratch it, if you touch it, you just destroy it. So I actually destroyed my pin lock. Another one cons is when you're wearing glasses, it's very difficult to use this type of helmet. First of all, every time you have to take off your glasses, put the helmet on, and then because of the limited space here, it's very difficult to mount it properly. You have to just make some kind of gaps here and here just to cut some of the insulation material. I don't know, I don't wear glasses, but it's difficult. I have seen it with many of my riding friends. You know how bad it is to riding in front of the sun. Even if you have sunglasses like this helmet here, it's difficult because the direct sunlight just go into your eyes, and you somehow need to put down your head just to eliminate it, or look left or right, and after a few minutes it's exhausted. There are many more, but I think that's enough to convince you that on the long motorcycle trip the better option is Enduro helmet. All the cons I just described, they not exist on that type of helmets. Only the pin lock system. You have more air in, better ventilation. It is not a problem to install a Bluetooth system. You can see how much difference we have between the street helmet and the Enduro helmet. You have more space inside, more air, and it's easy to find a proper space for your microphone. And if you use one of the old Bluetooth system like I do, it has this cable here with the microphone, and the control buttons are on the top of that cable. So with the street helmet, I cannot just put my fingers in and control that buttons. Every time when I need to do it, I have to make some kind of exercise going from here or from there, or just to lift the helmet a little bit just to press it, and it was difficult for me. With this one, because of the air gap here, it's not a problem. Most of the new models now coming with the sunglasses, so it shouldn't be a problem to find the one for you. Enduro helmets always got these peaks on the top. So the peak got two purposes. The first one is to protect you from the direct sunlight, and the second is to protect your visor from the stones. What you have to do, you just to lower down your head and the stones will go up to the peak. With this type of helmet, you can use goggles to riding off-road. Also, it is a solution in the case you break your visor. Of course, there are some cons as well. The first is the price. They usually are more expensive than the normal street helmets. They don't have good aerodynamic. So as you can see, they have a lot of parts around, and the aerodynamic, it's like a house. So they are more noisy and more windy, and usually they are heavier. When you're riding on the strong wind, the peak is like a sail. It's just actually moving your head like that. But the good news is that you can unscrew this bolt and just take the peak out and riding as a normal street helmet. In the cold weather, the air coming underneath from here, between your chin and the front of the helmet, because it's a big gap, and you're freezing faster. But in some of the models, they have a special additional piece of leather here to protect this of happening. Anyway, even after all of the cons I just mentioned, on the long motorcycle trip, I will always prefer to have Enduro type of helmet or dual sport helmet instead of a normal street helmet. Of course, it's just my opinion, but I would like to know what you think, guys. Just leave me in the comments below. Thank you once again for watching, and if you find this information useful, please like and subscribe for a new video every week. Ride safe. Ciao.